Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma Talk 85. Kamma condition. Kamma Paccayo. First, I will recite what is written in the book, translated in English. Wholesome and unwholesome karmas are related to their resultant aggregates, and karma produced matter by karma condition. Second part is, volition is related to the states associated with it and to the material produced by karma condition. That's it. It's what's in the scripture. And of course, our elders and our teachers elaborate and explain so that we could understand. So, what is karma? We can put it this way. The phenomenon that can produce mind and matter is karma. The phenomenon that can produce mind and matter is karma. And there are two types of karma. Karma that conditions consciousness and some mental factors that arises together with the mind made material at rebirth. That is one type. Karma that conditions or causes. What do they cause? Consciousness and some mental factors, and also some materiality made out of mind. At a very specific point, at the point of rebirth. That is one type of karma, and it is called gunasens karma. In Pali, sahajata karma. Gunasens sahajata means arising together, all these consciousness and jeta, mental factors, cetasika, and mind-made material Saddhija Rupa, all those things arises together instantly. That is one type of karma, sahajata karma. Karma that causes all its results arise together. And the other type, the second one, is the action and consequences do not occur together. The first one is cause and effect arises together, or action and consequences arises together. Second one is action and consequences do not occur or arise together. The cause takes place first, and the effect arises later. The cause or karma takes place before, and the effect or vipaka arises later. They have a different time of arising, not instantly together. And that karma is called, in Pali, nanekkanika karma. Nanekkanika karma. For those of you who are interested in Pali word, which means cause and effect arises at a different time. So, two types of karma. And also, karma can be understood this way. Volitional, wholesome and unwholesome activities are karma. Okay? Wholesome activities, but there's a strong volition behind it. Unwholesome activities, strong volition behind it. They are called karma. Resultant consciousness. Some mental factors and mind-made materiality are vipaka. Okay. We have two words. One is a karma, cause. Another one is vipaka, effect or consequences. So what are these? First of all, what is the cause? Wholesome and unwholesome volitional activities, the cause. And what are the effects? It's called resultant consciousness. So you have to go back to the types of consciousness we have discussed before. Resultant consciousness. Actually, there are altogether 36 resultant consciousness, but out of that 36, 17 belong to this category. 17 resultant consciousness. And some mental factors. There are altogether 52 mental factors. Out of that, 38 belong to this one. Okay. 17, resultant consciousness, and 38, mental factors, and mind-made materiality. Mind-made materiality is the material that arises at the first moment of rebirth, which is produced by Kamma. That's a mind-made materiality. Those three together, collectively, at the moment of rebirth, is called vipaka. So I'll repeat, summarize again. What is Kamma? Kamma is the volitional, wholesome and unwholesome activities. Kamma or action or cause. What is vipaka? Resultant, effect or consequences. Are these 17? Resultant consciousness, 38 mental factors, and mind-made materiality due to Kamma at the point of rebirth, only at that moment. That's vipaka. And also, volition. Volition is an English translated word for Kamma. So, Kamma, volition, volition, Kamma. That's the precise meaning of Kamma. The daily language, we call it Kamma action. But precise meaning is volition. The intensity of desire behind that action. Volition associated with 89 consciousness and its associated mental factors and materiality at rebirth, conditioned by cognizance, Kamma. We are still talking about that, sahajata Kamma or cognizance Kamma. These things arises together. Trying to explain in a different with a different definition. Also, cetana, volition. Kamma is volition, precisely cetana is volition. That a person has at every moment with unwholesome or wholesome actions, with associated mental factors. And here, what are the associated mental factors? Those are the 52. And then materiality produced. Mind produced materiality. What are they? Such as standing, sitting, walking, bending, stretching. All these movements are called mind-made materiality. There's an intention to stand, standing movements follow. Intention to sit, sitting movements follows. That is called Siddha Rupa, mind-made materiality. So, this is the second one. Nanakanika Kamma. Kamma, which is a different time zone for cause and effect. The first one is cause and effect arises at the same time. So, trying to explain the two types of karma with two different kinds of definition. Okay, let's look at an example of what we do quite often. Okay, we always do charity giving. Charity, everybody does it, but the volition behind it is different. Some people have a pure volition, some people has not pure but have agenda, some people have a very strong volition, some people it is because some other people nudge you to do it. So, volition, that's a karma. Volition at the moment of charity causes the mind, mental states, and bodily intimation. That's cognition's karma. This one is, you are doing a charity. At that moment, there's a volition behind that act. Because of that act, that generosity associated mind arises, and also along with it, mental factors arises, and also the body starting to go, pick up the goods, walk around, give it to the people. They are all together. So, generosity or charity, an act of charity has the cognition's karma. But at the same time, giving this act of generosity, it doesn't stop right there. That act of generosity, that volition behind it, produce a potentiality to produce result in the future or in the next life. You gave a lot this life, next life you were born in a wealthy family. So, an act of generosity has both type of karmas depending on how you look at it. One is right at the present time, another one is in the next life. So we need to understand this. What is cognition's karma? Nanakanika karma. Just simple to understand, or you don't need to understand at all. Just forget about everything and just do it. But when you understand, it becomes more profound, satisfying for people with logical and analytical mind. And also, one can understand karma on the timing of its result. Okay? Or you can view it from a different angle. That angle is timing. The arising of the timing of the result. So, to talk about it, one must recall thought process, viti. There are 17 moments in a thought process. And out of that 17, 7 are called jhana, swift consciousness. Hope you remember that. Jhana, swift consciousness. There are 7 of them. It happened one after the other, right away, quickly and swiftly. That's why it is called swift consciousness. And the volition with the first swift consciousness, I'll call it jhana. That's why I get familiar with the word. The volition behind the first jhana produce result in this life. There are 7. The first one, the result take place in this life. And if it doesn't take place, the potential expire. That's it, doesn't carry on. Because the results automatically doesn't happen. A certain set of conditions has to be met for them to arise. So that's the first jhana. And let's go back to right to the end, the 7th jhana. The volition behind the 7th jhana, consciousness, give a result in the second life. Second life means the next life. This present life is the first life. Next life is the second life. It will produce result in the second life. And if it doesn't, the potential expires. It becomes defunct. Karma has become defunct. And the third type is the volition behind the 2nd to the 6th jhana. We have already discussed 1st and 7th, so the 5 in the middle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jhana. The result of those jhana will be produced in the 3rd, starting from the 3rd life, and it can carry on till to the last life when one attains Nibbana. During that period, any time, whenever there's a right condition, whether good or bad result will arise. And also there's another karma. The 4th one is it's a karma that cannot produce result. Those are the functional. Remember? Functional karma. Arahant. They do many good acts, good deeds, wholesome deeds, but their mind is totally neutral. So it is functional. They simply do it just as a purpose is to function it for the benefits of others. They don't produce result. So the 4th is the functional kriya. So you can call it kriya karma. Functional karma does not make result or have consequences. So this is based on the timing of the arising of the result. And also karma can be viewed And from another angle, this angle is based on destinations. Unwholesome karma, akusala karma, gives rebirth in the four woeful states, in a hell realm, animal realms, hungry ghost realm, and lower demonic realm. So, its destination is the four woeful state, and unwholesome karma give rise to it. And the wholesome karma give rise is rebirth in the human realm and the sixth Deva realm. They are called sense realm, with happiness. Sukha bhumi. The four woeful states is dukkha bhumi. Bhumi is a place. Dukkha, suffering. A place of suffering, a place with happiness. Next one is rupa vachara, wholesome karma. Basically, it is the concentration meditation. Practice of concentration meditation is rupa vachara karma, wholesome karma. And its destination is the 16 rupa material Brahma planes. It will be reborn there. And the four immaterial wholesome karma, practicing arupa, non-material concentration meditation. That is four immaterial wholesome karma. It will give rebirth in the four immaterial Brahma planes. All these destinations, it's chosen by karma. Nobody chose for you. Nobody sent you there as a punishment or reward. Simply your own action. In fact, the volition behind your own action chose this destination. And it is one of the 31 planes in this cycle of birth and death. That's karma relation to the destination, karma relation in terms of time of giving result, and karma relations to spontaneous arising or different time arising. So it's a little more technical. So let's talk or discuss about a story which had actually happened at the time of Buddha. Once Buddha was on an alms round in Rajagaha city. At that time, at one moment, the Buddha smiled when he saw a female piglet. Then Ananda saw that smile, and he said, when Ananda asked, why the smile? Buddha, why do you smile? To put in a little simple term. And the Buddha said, this is not an ordinary piglet. That's the first statement. And then explain what he meant by that. This piglet was a hen, H-E-N, hen, at the time of Kaukasaana Buddha. The three Buddhas ahead of Gautama, Kaukasana, Gauna, Kassapa, and Gautama. So this world cycle has 5 Buddhas. That is the first Buddha of this world cycle. At the time of Kaukasana Buddha, this piglet was a hen. And at one time, that hen listened to the sound with interest, the sound of a yogi reciting the Dharma. Of course, don't know the meaning, but just the sound with keen interest, listening, heard it, pay attention, listen, and at that moment, the hen died. Because of that event or situation, the hen was reborn as a princess named Ubari. The princess Ubari. And then princess became a female hermit in her latter life. It's just that listening keenly to the Dharma sound at the last moment of her life gave rebirth as a princess in the first part of her life, and second part became a hermit, a female hermit. And that female hermit, once she was using the outhouse, of course. And while she was using the outhouse too, she's not just unmindful. She was really concentrating on the maggots in the dump, in the outhouse. And she concentrated so well and so much. At that time, she attained first jhana. In other words, at that life, she had first jhana. And when she died with the first jhana, in the next life, she was reborn in the first jhana Brahma Ram. That Ram has all Brahma, and their capacity of the first jhana. First jhana is the Kamma that they had done, and the result is first jhana Brahma, rebirth. And as we all know, Brahma lives a very, very, very long time. Sometime once world cycles, after others, millions, billions, zillions of years they live. So she enjoyed the bliss of the Brahma for a very long time, based on the power of the first jhana. And when the power of the first jhana exhausted or used up, at that time, the Brahma passed away. They live as long as the power of the first jhana, the Kamma. Brahmas are neither male or female. They have no sex. They don't have, or they don't enjoy sense pleasure. They live in the jhanic bliss. And after the Brahma passed away, she was reborn. No? That was reborn as a daughter of a wealthy person in human realm. From the human realm, practice first jhana, went to Brahma realm. Brahma one, exhausted, came back down to human realm as a daughter of a wealthy person. But at that life, she did many unwholesome actions. And because of these unwholesome actions, unwholesome karma, she was reborn as a female piglet, where Buddha saw at his arms round. Buddha has a banyan. Let's call it the ability to see past life of others if he wishes it, if he intended. That's why the Buddha smiled. And when Ananda, Venerable Ananda asked, he said, "Oh, this is not an ordinary female pig. Actually, it was a Brahma for a long time." The Buddha didn't smile out for no reason, because, okay, I'll jump and answer that. When Buddha smiled, then Venerable Ananda asked, and then when the Buddha explained, then the monks who were accompanying the Buddha at the arms round also heard. And when they heard it, they have a sense of urgency. Oh, life can be changed from a Brahma to a pig. Very scary. Because of the sense of urgency, the monks who heard practice harder and attain Satipatthana. See, every action the Buddha did has a beneficial result to follow. He knew that's the why he did. So, some of the monks became Satipatthana, and also the story spread around, of course. And that's why we are talking about it. It is recorded in the scripture. So that was the probably earlier part of the Buddha ministry, I guess. And in the later part, one day, later part of Buddha ministry, one day, Savaka Anuruddha. Savaka is, they are all arhants, but some have a psychical power, some are great wisdom, and those are called Savaka. Anuruddha is one of Buddha's cousins, become arahant, and he has the ability to see past lives. That is his speciality. One day, Savaka Anuruddha, or Venerable Savaka Anuruddha, was going on an alms round again, because it's one of their routine is they have to go for an alms round every day for that particular meal. They cannot store food, have food, cook food, and they have to eat what is given before noon. was on an alms round and arrived in front of a house of a minister's wife. There's a house, it's a minister house, but of course minister not there, and his wife's there. Minister house came in front of the minister house. And then at that moment, Venerable Anuruddha told the accompanying monks, "Oh, the piglet that Buddha saw quite a few years back is now the wife of a minister now." Just make a statement like that. Told the monks. And the minister wife, because she was offering alms food, heard what Venerable Anuruddha told the monks. And suddenly she had a great sense of urgency. What did the monks had? Why did he say I was a pig? And so on. At that moment, all the karmas are at work now. She got a great sense of urgency. And in Pali it is called Jaji Sara Jnana. In other words, recollection of her past life suddenly appeared in her, and she saw her past lives. It says 13 past life, starting from the hen, now a minister, because Brahma lives take a long, long time. Otherwise she will have a countless life. And also if you are a squirrel or a bird, the lifespan may be 1 year or a few months. Because of that, she asked permission from the husband, renounce every worldly life, worldly things and worldly life, and join the female monk order. She became a monk, female monk, and practice, of course. And after hearing the long discourses on full foundation of mindfulness, she became the first stream winner. You have to practice, but sometimes just need a little tweaking. That tweaking comes from that full foundation of mindfulness and became Satipatthana. And sometime later, after hearing the long discourse, Sapi Sopa Ma Sutta. I think Asivi saw Bama Sutta. She became Arahant. And after she became Arahant, she preached other female monks about her past 13 lives, so that they could heard, understand, and get a sense of urgency to practice faster and attain quicker. So, this story tells you about how karma is. It could be in a very high place, and it can go down right down to the lowest plane to animals. Very scary things. That's why we are all urged at least to attain the first stream winner status to all yogis. So this story indicates that monks with supernormal power can channel their insight and knowledge of the past life to produce benefits for others. They don't use these powers for their own personal sake. When they see an opportunity that others may benefit, then they retold what they know. Because of the Venerable Anuruddha's comment, the minister's wife received the wisdom of the past life, which triggered to join the female monk's order and became Arahant. Also, because of the Buddha's statement about the piglet, the Venerable Ananda and the accompanying monks, they became Satipatthana. These great beings don't talk things just for the sake of talking or to show off. They talk because they knew what the benefits others would have. Kamma, your actions, volition behind your actions, are the creator of your destiny or destinations. May all of you take heed and understand the law of karma and vipaka, and may you be try to practice as hard as possible to escape from the creation of karma as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.